If a researcher wants to observe, examine or test a theory or a hypothesis, he will consider the problem by selecting a selection of the population of the study using a method called the random sampling. In random sampling, all objects in the population listed in the study have the same chances of being chosen for the survey. This means that ultimately, each member of the sample retains characteristics or impartial characteristics of the population. With random sampling, the conclusions of the post-hypothesis test applied to the sample selection will apply to the entire population as well. This is due to the fact that the selection of the sample essentially represents the characteristics of the population from which it is obtained. Since each member of the sample was drawn unbiased from the population data. When bias in sample selection is avoided, the results of the particular study are considered more conclusive and the error is minimized. So kintahay sa inyong research, kana may nahanglan mga jud mo mga respondents or kadtong mga grupo sa mga tao nga maoy imong kuhaan sa imong research or kuhaan imong information. So kintahay ang imong mga respondents kay estudyante sa Libago National, lisod or imposible na kaadyo kung tanang estudyante sa nasyonal imong surveyhon tahay kung survey man gani imong gamit. Karon manginahanglan na kaana og representative kada year level. Na unsaon man nimo pagpili sa mga representative kada year level. So diha na namusod ng mga types of random sampling or ang saktong pagpili sa imong mga respondents. Kay dili man na pwede nga kung kinsa ra imong ganahan mao imong maimong kuhaon nga respondents, so bias na imong research. So to avoid bias unja kanang ma-minimize pod ang mga errors, so dapat moagi jud ka og sakto nga pagpili sa imong mga respondents. So karon kintahay sakto ang imong pagkapili sa imong mga respondents or sample. So ang characteristics or ang result nga nakuha nimo sa sample mautoy mo represent nga characteristics sa entire population. So kintahay nag-survey ka sa entire kanang eskwelahan kung unsay ilang ganahan nga subject, kintahay ra na ha unja di man sila tanan imong mapangutana, so mautong nanguha kag representative kada year level. Karon nakuha nimo nga sa first year majority sa ilang ganahan nga subject is math, diya imong gitest ato kay ang sample raman kintahay na aray mga 20 ka buok. So kung ilang ganahan math, so imo na siya i-conclude nga ang ganahan di ay nga subject sa tanang first year is math. So for example rato ha. So ang pasabot ra diha or ang gusto nang i-emphasize nga kung unsay result nga nakuha nimo sa sample nga group, mautoy mo represent sa entire population. The population refers to the whole group under study or investigation. In research, the population does not always refer to people. It may mean a group containing elements of anything you want to study, such as objects, events, organizations, countries, species, organisms, and others. A sample is a subset taken from the population, either by random sampling or by non-random sampling. A sample is a representation of the population where it is hoped that a valid conclusion will be drawn from the population. So kung matanaw ninyo sa picture, na ay target population, na ay sample. So ang target population mao na tanan. Ang sample magkuha ra kag pila ka buok gikan sa tanan nga population. So kung tahay ang imong target nga population is the entire Libago National High School, arang daghana mga estudyante, so magkuha na kag sample. So diha na magpili kung pila ka buok imong kaon gikan sa grade 7 kutob senior high school. So naatay mga paagi unsaon pagpili. So let's discuss the types of random sampling techniques or unsaon man siya pagpili sa inyong mga sample nga way bias. Lottery sampling. Lottery sampling is a sampling technique in which each member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. For example, is when members of the population have their names represented by small pieces of paper that are then randomly mixed together and picked out. In the sample, the members are selected will be included. So, mahitabo ingani para na equal chance sa pagpili, tanangan inyong isuwat sa papel. Ni kahuman pili ninyo lokoton, ibutang ninyo dako nga bawal tahay. Then maghubot mo ngadtong mga ngan. Ang mahubutan ninyo ngadtong nga ngan, mato inyong himuon nga sample or mga respondents. Number 2 is systematic sampling. Systematic sampling is a sampling technique in which members of the population are listed and samples are selected at intervals called sample intervals. In this technique, every nth item in the list will be selected from a randomly selected starting point. For example, if we want to draw a 200 sample from a population of 6,000, we can select every third person in the list. In practice, the numbers between 1 and 30 will be chosen randomly to act as a starting point. So ang paagi ani tanangan sa population inyong isuwat. Unya kay sa example kay naa may 6,000 ka population, unya maginahanglan kag 200. So pwede natong i-divide ang 6,000 sa 200 na ay 30. So pwede kag tanangan imo siyang isuwat by 30. Ini kahuman ikaw na decide kung mingon ba kag tanang ngan nga nasuwat sa multiples of 3 maoy himuon nimong respondents. So katungan nga natunong sa 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 kutob nga to 30 maotoy himuon nimo nga mga respondents. Number 3, stratified random sampling. Stratified random sampling is a sampling procedure in which members of the population are grouped on the basis of their homogeneity. This technique is used when there are a number of distinct subgroups in the population within which full representation is required. The sample is constructed by classifying the population into subpopulation or strata on the basis of certain characteristics on the population, such as age, gender, or socioeconomic status. The selection of elements is then done separately from within each stratum, usually by random or systematic sampling methods. For example, using stratified random sampling, select a sample of 400 students from the population which are grouped according to the cities they come from. The table shows of the number of students per city. So take note kang atong gikinahanglan nga sample is 400. So saan man na siya pag-solve. So ato sa i-total tanang population. So that's 12,000 plus 10,000 plus 4,000 plus 2,000 equal to 28,000. Na unsaon pagkuha og sample kada city. So ang ato diha kay namatay upat ka syudad. So ang sa city A, that's 12,000. I-divide na to kung pila ang total. 28,000. I-times na to sa 400 kay 400 may sample nga kinahanglan. So ato na si Jang i-simplify ang total ana or ang ijang result is 171.43 or 171. Sa B pod sa ikaduha nga city, that's 10,000 divide na to again sa 28, i-times na pod na to 400. Ang ijang result is 142.86 or 143. Now sa sunod sa C, that's 4,000 divide 28,000 times 400. Isang result is 57.14 or 57. Sa last na atay 2,000, again divide sa 28,000, i-times ito 400. Ang result ana is 28.57 or 29. So ato na siya i-total, naka-come up ta sa 400 nga sample nga atong gipangita. Number 4, cluster sampling. Cluster sampling is sometimes referred to as area sampling and applied on a geographical basis. Generally, first sampling is performed at higher levels before going down to lower levels. For example, samples are taken randomly from the provinces first, followed by the cities, municipalities, or barangays, and then from households. So mahitabo nga ni mag-level ka kibali ang daghan ng population. So mahitabo nga ni is kintahay region 8 imong target. Karon ang daghan namang municipality, so mamili kag asang municipality. After ana, under sa municipality karang daghan na pong baryo, so pili na po kag asa nga baryo. After sa baryo na po, pili na po kag asa nga purok tahay. Then after sa purok, diha na kamo pili og asa nga bay imong gusto. So from the word or from the name cluster sampling, ang ikaw nga researcher imong i-group ang imong population into a smaller group known as cluster. So kintahay libagon imong area nga gusto himo ag-research. So pwede imong tungaon ang Talisay padong Gakat, then Hubas padong punta. Kibali imong gikuan siya according to geographical basis. Number 5, multi-stage sampling. Multi-stage sampling uses a combination of different sampling techniques. For example, when selecting our respondents for a national election survey, we can use the lottery method first for regions and cities. We can then use stratified sampling to determine the number of respondents from selected areas and cluster. So multi-stage man siya, so daghang sampling technique ang pwede nimong gamiton. A parameter is a descriptive population measure. It is a measure of the characteristics of the entire population based on all the elements within that population. For example, all people living in one city, all male teenagers worldwide, all elements in a shopping cart, and all students in a classroom. Number 2. The researcher interviewed all the students of a school for their favorite apparel brand. A statistic is the number that describes the sample. It can be calculated and observed directly. The statistic is the characteristic of the population or sample group. You will get the sample statistics when you collect the sample and calculate the standard deviation and the mean. You can use the sample statistic to draw certain conclusions about the entire population. For example, 50% of people living in the US agree with the latest healthcare proposal. Researchers can't ask hundreds of millions of people if they agree, so they take samples or part of the population and calculate the rest. Researcher interviewed the 70% of COVID-19 survivors. A sampling distribution of sample mean is a frequency distribution using the means computed from all the possible random samples of a specific size taken from a population. For example, a population consists of the 5 numbers 2, 3, 6, 10, and 12. Consider samples of size 2 that can be drawn from this population. Letter A. How many possible samples can be drawn? So para ma-solve ang problem, gamito na to ni nga formula. Kung naka-recall mo sa inyong klase sa probability sa grade 10, gi-introduce na ni siya nga leksyon. So saan man ni siya, ang sa interpretation ani, that's the number of n objects taken n at a time, where n is the total number, kaning small letter n mao ni ang sample nga i-taken out from the population. So based sa problem, giingon diha nga a population consists of 5 numbers. Then samples of size is 2. So atong i-follow ni nga formula, that's 5 taken 2. Kung naka-recall mo ani usaon ganito siya, naata ato nga formula atong ingana sa inyong grade 10, mao ni ang atong formula paggamit. So ang atong i-substitute, kung ato ni substitute, ingana una lamang ni nato. Natay n, which is the total population, ang n ang sample. So ato ni siyang i-solve, this is 5 factorial divided by 2 factorial. 5 minus 2 is 3 factorial. So ato ni siyang i-simplify, this is 5 factorial divided by 2 factorial of times 3 factorial. So this is 120 divided by 12. So ang ato karong answer is 10. So sa ato pa, there are 10 possible samples to be drawn. Letter B. Construct the sampling distribution of sample means. So sa letter B, construct the sampling distribution of sample means. So list all the possible outcome and get the mean of every sample. So atong basihan is kani sila na datay 5 ka numbers. Unsa di ba giingon to dito nga taken 2. Ang sample dito kay sa base sa problem ang nakabutang nga samples kay size 2 man, so tagduha. So atong iparis-paris. So that's 2 on 3, 2 and 6, 2 and 10, na atay 2 and 12. Next, nga rin na punta ni 3 og ni 6, 3 og ni 10, 3 og ni 12, then 6 og 10, 6 og 12, then 10 og 12. So kung atong iphon na atay 10 samples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Masaon pagkuha ni sample mean? So ato ra silang i-plus divided by 2. So 2 plus 3, pila man ang 2 plus 3, that's 5 divided by 2, so that's 2.5. 2 plus 6 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. 2 plus 10 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. 2 plus 12 is 14, divided by 2 is 7. 6 plus 3 is 9, divided by 2, that's 4.5. 10 plus 3 is 13, divided by 2, pila man ng 13 divided by 2, that's 6.5. 12 plus 3 is 15, divided by 2, that's 7.5. 10 plus 6 is 16, divide 2 is 8. 6 plus 12 is 18, divided by 2 is 9, and 10 plus 12 is 22, divided by 2 it's 11. So giingana pagkuha ang sample mean. Giunsa ni pagpares, atong gibasihan ang 5 ka numbers. Okay, next sa letter C, let us make a probability distribution of the sample means. So this probability distribution is called the sampling distribution of the sample means. Now, unsaan man rin na to ron? Again, sa table, atong gikopyara ang sample mean. Ito atong gisolve ganiha. Katong 10 kabuok. So, kana sila, that's 2.5 padong sa 11. Ato na nang gikopya. Sa next na table diha probability, kung sa man na pagkuha. Since naatay 10 kabuok sample mean, so ato si Jang denominator na to is 10. Tanaw na to ang 2.5, pila ka 2.5 sa sample mean. Usara, so that's 1 over 10. Next si 4, usara pod si Ja, so another 1 over 10. Si 6 pod usara, so that's 1 over 10. 7 usara pod, so 1 over 10. 4.5 is usara pod, that's 1 over 10. 6.5 is 1 over 10, that's 1 over 10. 1 over 10, 1 over 10, o 1 over 10. Again, basig mangutana mo nga nung puro siya 1 over 10 kay wa man tay nakapareho nga sample mean. Pareho, why pareho? So kausara siya. So ato ni siya kuan, o kato ni siya himong decimal, let's pareho ni sila. So 0.1 or 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, kutob last. O ito po niya sa i-total tanan, ang total ana is pila man? 1. So, observe that all sample means appeared only 1. Thus, their probability is 1 over 10 or 1. So, maalagin na, wa man tayo nakapariha nga sample mean. So, maanang 1 over 10 ra. O ato po na sa siyang i-total tanan, diyo na sa siyang mula pa sa 1.
Another example, construct a sampling distribution of the sample mean for the set of data below. Consider a sample size of 3 that can be drawn from a population. So letter A, how many possible samples can be drawn?
So again, para ma-solve na to ang problem, gamit gihapon ta ato nga formula. So kani gihapon ang atong population, total population is 5, ang atong sample nga pangitaon is 3. So ato sa diyang i-substitute, that's 5 taken 3. So ato sa diyang gi-solve para sa akong gipakita ninyo ganihang solution or paagi. Again, 10 gihapon ang atong possible outcome. So letter B, construct the sampling distribution of the sample means. So di ba man atong given, diya gingon dito kay 3 sample man. So manang tagtulo. So we have 86, 88, 90, 86, 88, 95, 86, 88, 98, 86, 90, 95, 86, 90, 98, 86, 95, 98, 88, 90, 95, 88, 90, 98, 88, 95, 98, and 90, 95, 98. Again, 10 gihapon na ka-samples. So again, kung saan pagkuha ang sample mean, ato sa diyang i-add, then this time, ato diyang i-divide of 3. Okay, tuluman. So 86 plus 88 plus 90 divided by 3, that's 88. 86, 88, 95 divided by 3, that's 89.6 or 90. 86, 88, 98 divided by 3, so that's 90.6 or 91. Next, 86 plus 90 plus 95, then divided by 3, that's 90.3 or 90. And next, 86 plus 90 plus 98, then divided by 3, that's 91.3 or 91. Then we have 86
plus 95 plus 98 divided by 3, that's 93. The next, 88 plus 90 plus 95 divided by 3, that's 91. 88 plus 90 plus 98 divided by 3, that's 92. Then 88 plus 95 plus 98 divided by 3, that's 94. Then lastly, 90 plus 95 plus 98 divided by 3, that's 94. So, mani ilang sample mean. So, sa letter C, let's make a probability distribution of the sample means. So, this probability distribution is called the sampling distribution of the sample means. So, tanaw na to ang sample mean. Ito ipon pila. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 na laman. Dili sa 10 ha. Tanaw na to ang sample mean na iuban diha nga nagbalik-balik or pariho. So, ngaritas 88. Atong ipon sa sample mean, pila si 88. So, atong matanawan, usara. So, this is 1 over 10. Or, 0.1. How about si 90? Atong tanawon, atong resolve ganiha. That's 1, 2. So, na ay duha ka 90. So, that's 2 over 10 or 0.2. Next, si 91. 1, 2, 3. So, na ay tulo ka 91. So, that's 3 over 10 or 0.3. How about si 92? So, usara. So, that's 1 over 10 or 0.1. Si 93, usara pod. So, 1 over 10 or 0.1. How about si 94? So, klaro ka adto si 94 na iduha ka buok. So, that's 2 over 10 or 0.2. So, observe that ang 88, 92, si 88, si 92, o si 93 appeared only once. So, ang ilang probability man ang 1 over 10. Si kuan pod, si 90 o si 94, kabantay mo sa atong sample mean duha. So, man ang 2 over 10 or 0.2. Anja, si 91, katulo si Dya na ay tulo ka buok 91 sa atong sample mean ganiha. So, mauna nga 3 over 10 or 0.3. And again, kung ato na silang i-add tanan or bisag ka na, mo total gadyo na sila og 1.